This episode of Variant is brought to you by Audible.com. Today on Variant, I talk about Batman's Death of the Family story arc and give you the inspiration for Joker's creation. Welcome to Variant, where we love comics more than I love putting on warm underwear. I'm your host, Arris Quinones, or Arris Quiznos as I've come to be known. Anyway, today I'm going to be talking about one of the biggest storylines going on in comics right now, which would be the Batman Death of the Family storyline. For those of you who have been watching the show for a while now, know Batman is near and dear to my heart. So I'm going to give you an overview of the story and rate the story thus far. Now, before I get into talking about the Death of the Family, there will be some spoilers in this segment, so if you haven't been reading or caught up with all the issues and don't want anything spoiled, well, you've been warned. For those of you sticking around, hi, and let's do this thing. At the very beginning of DC Comics' New 52 launch in Detective Comics Issue 1, Joker had his face taken off by a villain known as the Dollmaker. For what reasons? Well, no one knows. It was never answered why the Joker did this. He's actually been entirely absent from the DC Universe for like a year now. So yes, to answer your question, he's been running around faceless for over a year. It's kind of crazy when you think about it too. And one of the goriest things I've seen in a Batman comic in a long time. And as if all the other crazy stuff the Joker's done in the past didn't solidify how much of a psychopath he is, I think this definitely did. I mean, the man cut his face off and nailed it to a wall and has been running around faceless for like a year. That just screams crazy to me. But this all brings us to Batman Issue 13, the start of the Death of the Family story arc and Joker's return to Gotham City. Now, some of you may be like, why are you talking about Detective Comics when the Death of the Family story arc is within Batman's title? Well, kiddies, that's because it's actually a big part of the Death of the Family storyline. In Batman Issue 13, the very first issue for this arc, Joker returns to Gotham City, and the first thing he does is break into Gotham's police department to steal his face back. Then he straps his face back on using a belt. He uses a belt to put back on his face. That's kind of awesome. Now, I'm going to stop right there for a second because I cannot talk about the scene and not mention how perfectly artist Greg Capullo was able to draw the scene. I mean, the 3 pages at last were nothing less than flawless storytelling and actually creeped me out while reading through it. The way he makes Jim Gordon use his flashlight in the dark, to the creepiness of just seeing Joker's shadow in the distance, or just seeing his foot and hand, it's awesome, all while killing off officers. Just really well done. They're some of my favorite panels drawn by any artist in 2012, and a true work of art, no pun intended. Okay, maybe it was a little intended. After he steals his face back, all hell breaks loose. He starts doing lots of things that are similar to stuff he's done in the past, or actual things he's done in the past, like killing the son of Henry Claridge, who's the first guy he's ever killed in Gotham, to meeting Batman in a chemical plant dressed up as the Red Hood, which that's where Joker became the Joker in the first place, by falling into a huge vat of acid. But we later find out it's actually Harley Quinn dressed up as the Red Hood, and the Joker is elsewhere just doing the talking. And amidst all this, he kidnapped Alfred. And I know the first time I read this, I was like, holy crap! That just happened. He also reenacts the crime he did in the storyline The Man Who Laughs, where he tries to poison Gotham's water supply, but this time he walks Batman through everything that happened last time and does it himself, including blowing up the aqueduct, which Batman did last time in order to stop poison from being piped down to the city, to killing the same amount of people that he was able to poison last time he did this. After this, the Joker says he knows who Batman really is, as well as knowing who the whole Bat family is. So he's saying he knows who Nightwing, Red Hood, Red Robin, Batgirl, and the current Robin all are. And this all happens in issue 14 and is the real driving point for the story arc, because Joker goes on to explain that the Bat family is making Batman weak and that he's Batman's faithful court jester, and Batman is the Bat King. And what's a court jester for if not to deliver bad news to the king? Like I said, Joker claims he knows the secret identities to the whole Bat family and says they all have 72 hours to live. But the kicker is, he says Batman is going to be the one to kill them all. A lot more happens in between this and after this, like the Bat family arguing with Batman in the Batcave about whether or not he knows who they really are. But we are left off in the story so far where Batman follows a lead he has and finds out that the Joker has been taking over Arkham Asylum and turning it into Batman's castle, which is another reference to the whole Bat King court jester thing, but that's as far as we've gotten in the story so far. The storyline has one more issue left because the 4th issue in this series is actually released today. So far, the storyline has been fan-freaking-tastic, and I wouldn't expect anything less from writer Scott Snyder, who just wrote one of my favorite Batman storylines ever, The Court of Owls, all while writing monthly issues for American Vampire and Swamp Thing, which all are amazing reads as well, and working on his new upcoming Superman title with Jim Lee. The man is super busy, but still able to pump out amazing work for everything he's involved in. Needless to say, he's one of my favorite writers in comics right now. And like I said earlier, artist Greg Capullo's art is ridiculous. He has storytelling with imagery down pat. I mean, there are tons of artists out there, their art looks great, but they don't know how to tell a story with it. But that's not the case for artist Greg Capullo. His art looks fantastic, and he draws one of the best Batmans I've ever seen, and he really has a dark tone with his work that works perfect for Batman. And B, he can tell a story with his drawings like nobody's business. Death of the Family also has a bunch of tie-in issues from titles like Nightwing, Red Hood and the Outlaws, Batgirl, and so on, which all have been enjoyable and make you even more curious to know if Joker really does know who Batman and the rest of the Bat family are. Bringing my thoughts to a conclusion, Death of the Family has been one of the darkest, most sadistic Batman/Joker stories we've had in a long time. Joker is really at his best in this and is freaking creepy, but I love it. Batman is also fantastic, and it's definitely a true Batman story doing what Batman does best, being a BAMF, and being a detective looking to bring justice. I'm really loving this story as a whole right now. The storyline hasn't concluded yet, but I have complete faith that Scott Snyder will pull through and give us a fantastic ending to a thus far awesome read. Join modding wizard Ben Heck and friends as they build and modify a host of amazing community-inspired creations. Be sure to watch new episodes of The Ben Heck Show each week right here at revision3.com/TBHS. In the latest episode of The Ben Heck Show, Ben goes into the workshop and gives viewers a valuable glue logic tutorial. Don't forget to go to element14.com/TBHS to find out how you can enter to win the latest builds from Ben's show and have all kinds of cool gadgets in your house. Be fun. Did you know the Joker was actually inspired after a character in a German silent film? Creators Bob Kane, Bill Finger, and Jerry Robertson drew their visual inspirations from a German actor Conrad Veidt's portrayal of a character Gwynplaine in the 1928 film The Man Who Laughs, which is completely apparent when looking at the actor's character. And actually really freaking creepy. I mean, the guy can actually smile the way the Joker does in the comics, and that's just not okay. It's just so teethy. Ugh. In 2005, writer Ed Brubaker, artist Doug Mank, and colorist David Barron did a storyline that's intended to be the successor to Batman Year One and tells the story of Batman's first encounter with the Joker. And that story is called The Man Who Laughs, which is a nice little nod to the film that inspired the Joker. Like I said earlier, the crime he did in The Man Who Laughs storyline is referenced and reenacted by the Joker in the Death of the Family storyline. So, the next time you think of how much you love the Joker, you can thank the Germans. First up for Wednesday, January 16th is Batgirl Issue 16. In this issue, you are invited to the wedding of Barbara Gordon and the Joker. The entire Gordon family is on hand for this most terrifying nuptials of all time. Do I need to say anything more? Next, we have Batman and Robin Issue 16. Has the Joker broken Damian? Has Batman's son met his fate in the hands of the Clown Prince of Crime? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to read this issue. Now we have Daredevil Issue 22. In this, Daredevil teams up with the all-new Superior Spider-Man, meaning I have to check this out as I'm curious to see what the new Spider-Man is all about. Here we have Saga Issue 9. If you haven't read this comic, boo on you, and I highly recommend that you do. So buy Volume 1 of the trade paperback and get caught up to sci-fi action goodness. And finally, we have Batman Issue 16. This is what the whole episode was about. And in this, Batman heads into the showdown with the Joker as the Madman's plans are finally revealed in Arkham Asylum. And it leads into next month's conclusion. Saying I'm excited would be a huge understatement. Before I end the episode, I'm going to be doing another giveaway. I'm going to be giving away all new X-Men Issue 5 along with 2 variant stickers. All you have to do to enter is tweet to me saying, please, God, give me that comic, because frankly, I find that funny. And then, once you do that, you'll be entered and I'll randomly pick one of you guys who tweeted to me and announce the winner on next week's episode. But that is it once again. And by the way, I missed you guys last week. I just hate skipping weeks. It just doesn't feel the same without you guys. Anyway, leave your comments and kind words below and be sure to like our variant Facebook page. You can also follow me at Twitter at twitter.com/Arris_Quinones. But I will see you next week when I review The Dark Knight Returns Part 2.
1, 2, 3, 4. I ain't got no alibi.
You ugly. You ugly. Mbotai.
Mbotai.
Mbotai. You're doing it, Peter. You're doing it.